Okay.
over the top of it.
You say I can start it?
Good evening, everybody. Making sure that we've still seen Dana because I don't see her there. Before
I'm here.
there you are. When we're not seeing you, so that's interesting.
I see her.
Do you?
Yeah.
I do not. So that's really interesting. And I apologize. I just started the record button. But I am not seeing you, Dane.
She's there. I promise.
Okay, there you go. Okay. Awesome. I was a little nervous there. Anyway, good evening, everybody. And excuse my voice tonight. This is Dina Wilkinson, and it is my extreme pleasure tonight to welcome you in and to, there's another Dina Wilkinson here. Let me see what I can do here. There we go. Okay. And to welcome you to our training tonight. This is our ongoing Dream Big, and we are so excited about who we have on training with us tonight. You know, when she told me what her topic was going to be, competence, I can't think of anybody that I know that's more competent than Dana. It is just the best described noun, adjective, verb, everything of you is just how competent you are. And I have to show you a little bit about her. You know, Dana has been with Arbonne for 21 years. She's a Spirit of Arbonne recipient, $1 Million Club Hall of Famer. It's a good thing I'm not the one training tonight. My mouth is not working. And she's been a top 10 income earner, incredibly wide MVP. She's one of the, she's on our leadership council, which we are so thankful that she is. And, you know, she has not only what she's done in Arbonne, but what she's done for the industry at large is incredible. I love to have conversations with Dana about our industry because she is so brilliant in our industry. And she's been featured in Networking Times and several industry books. She's spoken for the industry at the Mastermind event and she's now part of the faculty. So I love how passionate she is about Arbonne, but I think if I could say this, that I would think she's really proud of her accomplishments, but if you had to ask her what she's most proud of, I would say it's her children. And I know she's a great mom. She lives in Savannah, Georgia, and she's the mother of Jack, Grace, and Ava. So it's my pleasure to turn the time over and to welcome all of you to be able to hear from EMVP extraordinary, Dana Collins.
It's so funny. As I'm listening to you talk, Dina, I'm thinking there's nobody that I know who understands network marketing better than you. I've learned pretty much everything I know from you. I'm just a really good parrot. And I mean, Phoebe has written just about every presentation that we've done since I've started. So I feel like I'm sitting in the Hall of Fame right now. And I mean, what better examples of competence in this business than the two of you? I mean, seriously, I wouldn't be here without either of you. I mean, you've been such significant mentors and influences in my life. So thank you. So a lot of what I'm going to talk about tonight, I've really learned because of your influence, Phoebe and Dina, and and there's so many leaders that have influenced all of us. We're part of a great tribe and a great community. And so what I want to do tonight is I want to talk about this idea of competence because last year, Jessica Champagne had asked me to come to her nation celebration and talk about commitment. And I really, really love delving into the topic of commitment because it's foundational to success. You cannot succeed in anything if you're not committed. And if you've heard my training, you remember me saying that, and if you haven't, then you'll laugh because this is kind of something that I talk about when I talk about commitment, because it's it's kind of silly, but when we get married, we don't take our ex-girlfriend or boyfriend and move them into our basement in case things don't work out. We don't do that. We don't have that safety net in our basement. We walk to that altar and we say, I do, and we're all in. And that's really how we approach this business, because if we're not committed, we can never become competent. Competence is followed by your commitment. And I'm going to show a slideshow, so I don't know, can I screen share? Yeah, I'm going to share my screen because I'm going to share some slides with you because, and I should really put on my glasses. Okay. This will stop other screen sharing. Do you want to continue? Can I stop screen sharing?
Yes, you may. And you look adorable in your glasses, so definitely put them on.
Well, they're dirty. So otherwise I would put them on. They wouldn't really help. So
okay.
I was in a public restroom and I saw this. And it's so funny how when you're thinking about something, you see examples everywhere. And I went, oh my gosh, whoever made this bathroom was not competent. Now look at this picture. Imagine you're handicapped and you've gotten out of your wheelchair so that you can use the bathroom, and now you need the toilet paper. What do? Well, you have to get back in your wheelchair. So we expect a certain level of competence everywhere that we go, especially when we're working with the professionals in our lives, right? I love this picture. I mean, seriously, you expect the medical examiner to know that you're actually really dead, that you're not just in a really deep sleep. So we expect competence in the people that we do business with. It's no different in our profession, in Arbonne. Harvard did a study, and what they found is that people who were successful were able to combine two traits: warmth and competence. And so those two qualities were the qualities that attracted people, and so warmth attracted people, competence engaged people to do business with them long term. So we have to be aware that there's areas in this business in which we need to be competent. And sometimes we believe that we can compensate for a lack of skill by doing more. And the reality is we can't outrun incompetence. And here's the crazy part. Is that, it's when we hear the phrase, you work smarter, not harder. What that really underscores is become more competent in what you're already doing so that you're more effective and you get results without having to double your efforts. And so I don't know if anybody that's listening to this or will listen to this has ever worked in an environment where they thought their boss was incompetent. But that's called the Peter Principle, where everybody in an organization gets promoted until they reach their level of incompetence. And at that point, they stop being promoted, which explains a lot why you didn't really like working for your boss. They were incompetent, and it's because they were raised to the level of incompetence. That's something that everyone learns in business school, is the Peter Principle. So given enough time, every position in a firm will be occupied by someone who can't do the job. And in my mind, I think of our government and bureaucracies, but that's a whole nother thing. So in reality, that would apply to our business as well. We all get to the level of our incompetence. So wherever you are, you're there because you haven't reached the skill sets necessary to be competent to go to the next level. Or maybe it's not just skill sets, maybe it's mindsets, habits, attitudes. So in order to grow, to go to the next level, you have to grow to the next level. I remember, Phoebe, when you first introduced me to Arbonne, you said to me, one of the best things about this business is personal growth. I remember sitting there thinking in my head, I'm fine, I just need to know how to make money. And I soon learned that one of the best things about this business was personal growth, because without it, its success isn't possible. And so personal growth is part of your journey to competence. And I'm so grateful for the lesson because boy, I had so, and still have so many areas that I can be better in. And there's always room to grow. And I can remember there was a point in my business because, again, I got, area manager was my level of incompetence, and I had gotten stuck at area manager, and I was stuck. And I know, Dina, you remember this, and we were in Las Vegas for GTC. Those days it was called MTS, and I was sitting at a table with Dina, and I had one person that came to me that year to the conference, one person. And I had a team and everybody quit. And that was because I was incompetent. I believed that I got to area, I had 3 or 4 direct districts. And if they would promote 3 or 4 direct districts, I would become a region. They would become areas. And then if their people did the same, we would all go to the next level. And so I didn't really need to do any more except manage and cheerlead. And I was so obviously wrong, and we all know that doesn't work, but I was incompetent and believed that was how we did things. And it didn't take long for the people that were direct to me to quit because I wasn't leading. I wasn't leading by example. I was not doing as I said, or I wasn't asking them to do what I was doing. I was asking them to do what I wasn't doing. And so they stopped doing, because people do what you do, not what you say. So they were doing what I was doing, which was nothing, and people quit. And there was just one person left. And at that point I thought, I want to quit. I don't want to do this anymore. This doesn't work. Because when things when things don't work, we start to look outside of ourselves for solutions or someone to blame. So I started saying, our bond really doesn't work. Look how long we've been around, and there's not very many people at the MVP level, and I'm gonna, just this isn't the right fit. So then I got a call from our former president, Rita Davenport, and she literally took me to the woodshed and she asked me, "What have you been reading?" And I said, John Grisham, The Pelican Brief. And she called me a heifer, which is a Southern term of endearment, or so Rita said. But I live in the South, and it can be in a term of endearment, or it can be a direct insult. But she pointed out to me that I wasn't making that investment in my own business development or personal development. You see, there's 2 different types of development. Personal development and business development. I had read a number of books on network marketing. I understood network marketing, but I wasn't continuing to read and develop my belief, because belief is a choice, and what we put in our head influences what we think. And so it's really important to constantly reinforce your belief in what you're doing. And it's also important to grow yourself. And where I wasn't growing is understanding leadership. That was really a sticking point for me. And I still have a long way to go in understanding leadership. But at that point, I didn't understand it at all, because it wasn't something that we really talked about in the corporate world. So I decided that I was going to be a student of John Maxwell. And I picked up my first John Maxwell book, and it was called Developing the Leader Within You. And Developing the Leader Within You, it was like, it's if you're used to reading fiction, it was so hard to read. It was like eating toast that had been sitting on a counter for a week. It was so dry, but I got through it, and it made me think. And so then I read the book, Developing the Leaders Around You, and that made me think even more. And so I started to become consciously incompetent. And so this is the cycle of learning. And you've probably heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where we have to get certain needs met before we can self-actualize. Well, he also developed stages of learning. There's unconscious incompetence, and those are our blind spots. That's where we're not aware that we are unaware. So an example of being unaware might be a baby who doesn't understand they can't walk because they don't really know that they need to walk. And so we all have blind spots, and blind spots are only uncovered by really by being willing to ask the people that are our upline, what is it that we might not be aware of? And that's really hard to do. But the people that are directly looking in on your game are usually aware of your blind spots. The next stage is conscious incompetence. And so this is when a baby just starts to walk and they have to hold on to things, otherwise they're going to fall down. Well, in our business, this is kind of usually where we start with our skill sets. You know, that first presentation where we have our note cards, our notes, and we're constantly looking at our notes because we know that we haven't done it enough. So we're conscious enough to know that it's not in us yet. And then we get to the point where we don't really need the note cards, but we really have to focus on what we're saying. And that's when a baby starts to walk, but they still fall down a lot and they have to really put a lot of energy into thinking about what they're doing. So if you've ever learned a sport, maybe it's skiing, maybe it's tennis, maybe I'm trying to think of other things where I remember learning to play tennis and thinking this is the dumbest sport in the world because all I do is pick up tennis balls because I wasn't competent enough to keep the ball in play. And then eventually I could keep it in play, but it was so much effort. And then eventually you get to this point where you can just do it and you don't think about it. You just know how to do it. And that is also true in Arbonne. And that's how we work through and learn skill sets and become really competent in skill sets and really anything that we deem to master. I love when I watch someone come into this business in 21 years. It's just been such an incredible gift to see people come in and grow in their leadership and become just this polished, poised leader. And it's like from the worm to the chrysalis to the butterfly, where they're just, the wings emerge and they don't even know that they were ever a worm, that they walk around a butterfly and are just completely unconscious of how amazing they are. It's just who they are. And it's just, that's one of the things I think I love most about this business is what it does for people, not just on the outside, but on the inside. And I love that about this business, and that we all have the opportunity to continue to grow in our competence in every way. And so taking all of these ideas of competence, of warmth, the qualities that create successful people, the thing that the most important things that we need to develop, I created a little chart. So this was my version, and my daughter said, that is illegible. So she made this one for me. Wasn't that nice of her? And this is legible. And so this is my chart. This is kind of how I see it. I see mastery is the goal. And whether it's in leadership, whether it's our skills, maybe our ability to invite, present, whatever that might be, our knowledge base, all of these, this is what we see. What we don't see precedes competence. And these are the characteristics that make up our character and create the warmth, that create the magnetism, the thing that draws people to us. This is our character. It's what we think about. It's what we believe. It's the attitude with which we show up. It's our habits. It's, do we show up? And when we show up, are we contributing? Are we adding value to whatever it is? Are we fully present? Do we think good thoughts about the people that surround us? Do we build each other up? Do we believe the best in one another? This is called this is all character. And if you're not where you want to be, this is where you work. That's that which is unseen, because your private victories will always precede your public victories. It's always an inside job before it's going to show on the outside. So if you're in this business today and you want to take it to the next level. I mean, we've had the most amazing month. We're seeing tremendous momentum, tremendous growth, and it's all really, really exciting. And even if your business is on fire, we can all, every single one of us continue to work on that which is unseen. And if anyone's ever read Malcolm Gladwell's The Tipping Point, or no, it's The Outliers, he talks about 10,000 hours. And it takes 10,000 hours to become competent, to master something. So 10,000 hours of personal development, 10,000 hours of doing. That's what it requires. So if you can work on this business, if you could put 40 hours a week in, and you can do it 52 hours a week, that's only 2,000 hours. So here's the thing. Some of us come into this business and we have to start at hour one. And that's why it takes some people like me longer to have the outward signs of success. Other people come in and they've already put 7,000 hours in, 8,000 hours. And that's why their businesses seem to grow so much faster, because they've put in the time. They've put in that which is necessary to build the foundation on which success rests. So success is what shows up when the bottom half of this is built. And the top is what when we show up, when success starts to show up, that's when competence is really, really apparent. We see it's shown in your leadership, in your skill sets. Because all of these require being able to have mastery over what you think, your mindset, your feelings. Do you let your feelings drive the bus? Do you react to something with your emotions and then act on that? Because somebody who's mastered the bottom half of this, they don't do that. What you do shows your competence and your mastery. So if you're reacting on feelings, what you're going to do isn't mastery. It's going to be damaging. We all know that. We've all written those emails that we should never have sent, or we've said those things that we never should have said. So this is kind of what it looks like. And to kind of close, the most important component of competence is teaching. It's teaching that which we want to become great at. Research agrees with this, because 10% of what we read, we retain. 20% of what we hear, we retain. 30% of what we see, we retain. 50% of what we hear and see, we retain, which is why I love Zoom, because it's seeing, it's hearing. 70% of what we say, we retain, which means that when you teach it, you retain it more. So if you want to learn a presentation and you want to become competent and you want to become great at it, you have to say it, you have to do it, because 90% is what we say and do. And so in our business, we learn by watching, doing, and teaching. So strive to be a teacher. That is the ultimate level of becoming competent. So that's what I have for us tonight, you guys. I hope, I don't know, Dina, Phoebe, are there any questions? I'll stop my screen so I can see you guys again. Are you there?
Yes, Dana. I'm muted.
Unmute.
I love learning and really talking about competence and when it becomes unconscious, because it is absolutely so true. And all the things that I have learned and all the things I have read, it keeps buffing off your kind of rough edges and teaching you lessons that you go, ah. And it just is amazing how, and when we let our ego get out of the way, that's when we can truly lead, because we do the best, within the best interest of the people we lead. And
Yeah.
I just think what you said tonight was just amazing. I loved it. It was great.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you for sharing that.
Well, again, it's, it's the lessons that you learn the hardest are the ones that you understand and can teach, because I was working too hard on the top, trying to create the visible sign of success. And I wasn't working enough on the bottom and becoming a better leader. So and a better follower, because leading starts with being a follower. And sometimes that's and it's also sometimes it's about letting the people around you go, because they can teach you so much. Because you don't know how many hours they've put in when they walk in the door. I mean, look at some of the amazing leaders that have come into Arbonne, in your organization, Phoebe. I mean, like Sue Cassidy. I mean, just she came in with with 9,500 hours under her belt. And, that's what, so it's like she came in, she took off because she had already done so much of the work. Mm-hmm. And when you talk to her, that's so evident in her attitude, her mindset, her character.
So true. So true.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of Stephen Covey's Principle-Centered Leadership.
Yeah.
That's a really great book, in his 7 habits. You know, I've been listening to that again and reviewing it. And it really does come from the core character and putting those hours in. Yeah. And, Kevin Trudeau talks about in martial arts, he thought that he was so good, and he went, he started working with, I'm trying to think of the really top masters. And he told him that he wanted to teach him, the master wanted to teach him a punch, because he had a communicator. He said, I want to learn from you. The shaman monk, and he said, and he said, I want to teach you a punch. And he said, I know the punch. And he kept at it until finally he let him teach him the punch. And he said, I don't care how many punches I want to know the punch that you have done 10,000 times. You have to do it again and again and again, and then you master it. And sometimes that monotony of doing the same things over and over again, we need to be thankful for, because they're creating that. And
I know Dina always said, she would say to me, Dana, fall in love with the monotony, fall in love with the monotony, fall in love with saying the same things over and over and over again until they're just second nature. And, as I'm thinking and listening to you talk, Phoebe, the reading about the work they've done at Harvard on what attracts people to another person. When I met you, I remember thinking, I want to be like her. She's so wise and so calm and so centered and so she's so successful, but she's not like, you didn't have that vein popping out on your forehead from stress. And you just spoke to me with such confidence and ease that I enjoyed being around you and with you. And all I knew was that I wanted to be like you.
Thank you, Dana.
And Julianne says, tell the story of how you met. Oh my gosh, it was like, Julianne, it was just so, it was meant to be. It was so meant to be. I had been interviewing with a company for 6 months, and it was the final job interview. And I had challenges with my skin, and the stress of not working for 6 months and being in debt and everything riding on this one thing going really well, I had an eczema outbreak. I got in the job. I don't know how he overlooked my skin, but he did. I got in the car with my girlfriend. We were going to go celebrate. And she took one look at my face and said, you need a facial. It was a Friday night. It was Philadelphia. Where do you go to get a facial on a Friday night in Philadelphia when all the salons are closed? And there happened to be an esthetician convention in the Philadelphia Convention Center. I mean, go figure. And it just so happened that the minute we walked in, they called all the estheticians to like the Liberty Ballroom or something. So there were no booths that were manned. And there was one table that had people, and it was the Arbonne table. And I went over, and Phoebe took pity on me, and she was like, oh my gosh, I think she had to go like to probably like the drugstore and get a bucket and sponges and like a car wash and try to like calm my skin down. And she put product on me, and she put makeup on me, and I looked so much better. And as we were talking, she said, you know, I had skin like yours. And we had both had a similar experience where at 24, we had a dermatologist tell us we had skin like, you know, someone who was older. And we both rebelled against that idea and had really spent time looking for great products. And I fell in love with the products. I fell in love with Phoebe, but I wasn't interested in the business. I kind of put up my hand to the business. But I had dinner with my mom to tell her about this great opportunity that I had just been offered. And she asked me the question that you know, the $1 million question, because it really was, it got me to think, you know, where did I want to be in 5 years? And the path that I was about to walk on was going to put golden handcuffs on me that would allow me no lifestyle, no flexibility. It would give me the income that, you know, great income, but it wouldn't ever give me a life. And I knew I wanted to have kids. I wanted to be present in their lives. And all I could think of was Phoebe and her story. And so I reached back out. I went and met with Phoebe, and I signed up, and I jumped in. And I haven't looked back. It was the best decision that I could have made. So, you know, if you're new and you're watching this and you're thinking, you know, I just, is this going to work for me? Commit, just, you know, commitment. It really starts there. It's putting your whole self in, just like with a marriage, you put your whole self into this. You give you have no out. This is it. This is what you're going to do. Don't have your story like I had for, you know, I'm going to leave because Arbonne doesn't work. Get rid of your story. Enough. There's enough people driving a Mercedes that if it works for that many people, it will work for you. It starts with working on that foundation so that you can see the physical, visible results of success. And it always starts with that foundation. And if you're fortunate, you've already done some of this work. I was not that fortunate, but I am living proof that you can build that foundation, and you can do it. And you can do it in less than, you know, you can put that your life does count toward those 10,000 hours. It really does.
But I'm going to rat on you.
Oh no.
Because you may say that you needed all that kind of growth, but you were already became so successful because you had discipline. You were a very disciplined person. And so, you know, when you set goals and you made decisions, you really went for it. So you may not have seen yourself that way, but I certainly saw you that way. So yeah. Don't ever think that you didn't come in with a lot of, I think we're at about 9,000.
Had a lot of hours.
Yeah, 9,000 hours in your baby.
Yeah.
So
She's a thinker. The thing about Dana is that she's a thinker.
She's a thinker.
She really can analyze and look at something, and she has made such a difference in Arbonne. You know, when Arbonne was not set up in a way that would have grown as quickly as it did until Dana really did the numbers, looked at it and said, hey, we need to be doing 6 for success. We need to have the 6 group presentations, getting in front of enough people. And it was so much less stressful, but she really developed that. And and has made a big impact. And her also, I don't know anyone who can express herself as well and is in such an articulate way and a very intelligent way that people say, oh, wow, so what she has done. But the fact of the matter is we all can put those hours in, and that was a beautiful message that you don't have to already be there. This can be your proving ground. This can be your way to grow and become, who you really want to be and beyond. Because, truly, look at all the accolades that Dana has achieved.
Well,
Awesome.
that's, but I've had really big shoulders to launch from with you and Dina. I mean, the amount of investment that the two of you have made in me is tremendous. And I think one of the biggest things that I've learned from you both is the biggest gift that you can give someone when you bring them in is just believe in them. Is believe, because like I was disciplined, but I didn't necessarily believe in myself. And both Dina and Phoebe told me in a million different ways, I believe in you, I believe in you, I believe in you. And eventually I went, they must be right. And because your voices were louder than that voice in my head. And that's why, I think, and that's, I think the most, and that's why Upline is so important, and why I feel so grateful that I've connected to you and that I've had such a great relationship with both of you for the 21 years I've been in Arbonne. I consider you both dear friends, and am just so blessed to have you both in my life. And we would not have met except through Arbonne because we live so far away. And
yeah, so true.
Right. And
Right.
it's brought me together with, I think, the most amazing people on earth. We are a tremendous force. And I really honestly believe that this company was created to make a difference in the world and to give people hope and to improve people's lives. And that's what we're doing every day. And we, and sometimes we don't feel that we can do it. But when we start to make that shift into understanding what a gift we have, that's when things start to really turn around. But it takes a lot of reading. It takes a lot of investment in yourself and showing up and listening and deciding that you're going to believe the things that support your goals, your dreams, and not to believe things that are not going to serve you in the long run. And we all have those choices. And thank you both for the choices that you've made, because they've impacted so many. And I know I'm speaking for many listeners that will listen to this call tonight. So you're the best. I love you guys.
Thank you, my dear.
We love
Great,
you.
everybody. That was just awesome, wasn't it?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Many words of wisdom there tonight.
All
Thank
right.
you all for
Good night,
joining
everyone.
us, and enjoy this recording and listen to it again and again for the incredible insights there that Dana shared. And make it a fantastic first week of May, because we had such a launching pad last month of incredible growth. So I can't wait to see where we all are. Give us like 90 days to 6 months to a year. I can't imagine where we're going to be as a team and as a company. So go out and share Arbonne's opportunity and give a great gift to someone. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great night.